Joe started out with a lot more enthusiasm than me this episode, guys. I am doing my best to not be depressed at our current blight.
Dude, we got a long way to go.
We do, and...
I think there's like 13... No, there's way more than 13.
So
stories.
you are witnessing, or listening, rather, to Godzilla Island commentaries. We're doing stories 5 through 7 today, because that consists of all the stories on the first disc. We did 1 through 4 last time. So far, doesn't seem to be too much continuity between the stories. And a story, by the way, is an episode of this show. I still, for the life of me, Joe, cannot figure out how people viewed this, and it's bugging me so bad. I want to know when and how people viewed this. I suppose it had to have been in like a children's block of TV, but when...
between some shows of some kind.
We know the air dates. That's it.
Yeah, that's all we know.
Like how people actually consumed it as it was being released brand new.
I guess if we looked at the television network...
Oh yeah, it was like released on. We will
do some detective work that'll take like 2 hours to do.
Yeah, because there's nobody. I mean, people were information was sparse on our last TV show commentary, Zone Fighter.
That's right.
It felt like we had access to so much with Zone Fighter compared to this. So, story 5.
They know. We complained about it last time. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
There's nothing to see here. Okay, episode 1 of story 5. This Kaiju for hire, and we are allowed to have our sound on this one. If you remember, Drew.
It's up a little bit. Can you not hear the theme song that's playing?
No, I heard Gojira.
So this Kaiju for hire. This is the first short in story 5.
Go. In case you're watching along. What the heck happened last time, dude? It's been long enough that I can't remember.
You know, I already stated,
right, there was
not
ship.
A lot of continuity. General Sushi, and he's not in a ship. He's in the on-island base. Michelle Jackson and Zoe the Zillion. Right. And Joe Flubber, Robin Williams.
Okay.
2000.
So you're just going to call it Flubber?
Yeah, we'll call it Flubber, the little floating robot that helps out the G-Guard commander, General Sushi. He's on an island, and he's protecting the monster.
Kaiju something.
For hire. We're starting off looking at, wow, this is super Mystery Science Theater-ish. Zoom in on the model of the UFO ship that Zoe lives on. She's reading a newspaper, and it's a fisheye type
She's
lens.
angry. She's angry.
I'm going to have to see her face, but nope, it's not. I was hoping that the footage had upped in quality. I don't think it has.
She's like disgusted. Oh my gosh, the cockroach came up.
Yeah, a little dollar store bug.
And then she's going to crumple up a newspaper. I hope you like this play-by-play, guys. He's going to crumple up a newspaper.
Those are the effects. Okay, the effects on par with, something you'd buy at the dollar store. I believe this cockroach is speaking to her because she is speaking back to the cockroach she about smushed.
Pretty sure that's just a toy, Drew.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think you can buy
cockroaches. She is ravishing. She's a gorgeous lady. I'm not usually one for bangs. Like her bangs.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm a big Bang fan.
So what? You are not into high-waisted jeans on women.
No.
I am.
But I'll take the bangs, yeah.
I like pixie cuts, but I like shorter hair, but
okay.
Not so much bangs.
To each his own, and our objectification of women.
There's in our reaching. This is reaching, Joe, for something to speak about. All right. There was a second spaceship next to Zoe's. I'm supposing that's where the cockroach came from. And if you remember, Joe, Godzilla vs. Gigan, there were cockroach aliens.
There were. And they're having a conversation, her and the cockroach.
Oh my gosh, this is totally...
Here comes Gigan.
Yeah, and what do you know? The cockroach aliens that brought Gigan with them.
Do you think she's a cockroach?
Gigan just appeared.
Because she was ready to kill it, so I'm guessing
she's a Sylvian, Joe. She was part of the Astro Monster.
Okay.
Hedorah, that whole continuity. This is another alien species. If I'm remembering correctly, they came from a planet that was destroyed in like the asteroid belt. So it was a planet that existed, but they had to leave it because of like pollution.
Is that it? She just talks to a cockroach and we see Gigan?
That was short one.
Riveting. Okay, this is strength.
With an exclamation mark. This is strength.
Starting in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, let's get our
there's
homemade
Joe,
DVD transition going through this.
What's going to kill me is watching the intro, even though it's like 10 to 15 seconds long. I believe first episode I may have said it was even longer than that. It's pretty short because the full short is like 3 minutes tops. Just watching this intro over 200 times. Hey, Joe, at least we only I think, Joe, we're on short 2 of story 5 and the madness is already setting in.
Let me see if I can get the double bass going in.
Gojira. They had to make these shorts comprise of something where it's like you could watch them and still understand in 3 minutes what's going on.
I already looked at the episode list after this. We have so many.
Oh, yeah, it's like it's 250. It's 250-ish, and we're maybe 35, 40 shorts in.
So what's with the arm guards, the wrist guards?
It looked like duct tape. We're talking about Michelle.
Yeah.
She has entered the room with General Sushi. And you know the vibe I'm getting? She is just an idol because Japan idolizes pop stars, and
because we don't. Japan's the only country that idolizes pop stars.
But it's Joe. It's like to a
I know
degree.
It's weird. It's
also Korea.
Japanese idols are an interesting thing to see.
Yeah,
but I guess she could be that. Did we ever look up
off those vibes
whether or not she was?
Joe, there's so
we
little
probably
on the
did, and then totally
actresses
forgot
here.
our information on the last. Episode.
Hey, we got a lot of time to look it up. You know?
We do. That's true.
I like seeing that Gigan POV. So Gigan descended from outer space down to the Earth, was looking at Godzilla as Godzilla's looking up like, what the heck are you? I'm supposing in this continuity he's never encountered a Gigan, but the Gigan POV was all red because, Gigan's got his like little visor above his like Cyclops eye.
He's got the Cyclops
and
thing
there was like all these, it looked like a Terminator vision basically, but it was from Gigan. I like that.
Well, they're still having a conversation with the cockroach.
This shot of Gigan in space is so terrible.
You know what? It looks better than the
it looks better than the flying around the Godzilla tower.
Yeah.
Where like
that's the one special effect that's better in this show.
Yeah. I mean, it's the footage, the film quality, the whatever.
Film quality.
Tape that they filmed this on?
DV tape.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
All right. That was episode 2, or short 2. Story 5. Here comes short 3. A Detestable Premonition. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay.
What have you been up to, Joe?
Okay. Well, Drew, I had a long day of podcasting yesterday.
I heard you were playing Crystal Chronicles.
And then today, I played Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles for about 6.5 hours. You're living the dream. I did that.
Actually,
I had a good time, but the last hour was just no progress, and we got pissed off. So
I told Joe because that's
right before I got here. I made sure I got in a bad mood.
Wonderful, good for this podcast. Good for me to have to be with angry or grumpy Joe. No, he seemed to be okay. Gigan has descended back to Earth. I was just speaking through the intro, and of course, they're recapping the last episode, which takes up another 5 to 10 seconds. Yeah, as if they could cut any more into this 3 minutes of pain.
Is the purple title new? Was it always purple?
I don't know. Was it purple? It looked blue to me. It looked like when we were talking about our Zone Fighter commentaries, the DVDs that they had burned. Basically, when you make your own DVD, the like default menu is this weird blue. But anyway, that's
someone send Godzilla a message on an arrow.
I'm just beyond words for this series already.
I think that's what happened.
Hey, do you remember Godzilla was wearing handcuffs at one point?
It's true, yeah.
Those are some pretty big handcuffs. I would hate to have been the police officer that had to cuff Godzilla.
And Godzilla ignores his note.
They cuffed him from the front. All Godzilla has to do, lift up those stupid little arms, atomic blast, done.
He doesn't have stubby little arms. He has straight up man arms there, Drew.
Ish, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
King Caesar.
Oh,
he appeared in Mechagodzilla. So this is going, well, they just pull monsters from everywhere. But this Caesar looks updated. He does not look.
You think so?
He doesn't look Showa era Caesar. Maybe.
There's only one Caesar, isn't there?
Nah,
He's got some swirly, like, Hercules nipples going on there.
Joe, that's the You know, it's the things that he's based off of. Remember those like Shibizu tigers or whatever? They stand as like protectors to shrines in China, and they've been adopted into like other Asian cultures. But yeah, so it's the markings of those stone lion statues they're trying to evoke on the costuming of Caesar.
Not Hercules nipples, then.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Geo.
To be continued, there's Gigan and Godzilla are standing across from each other.
Standing off.
I was waiting for the freaking fight to happen.
I like how it takes 3 episodes to get to a fight, and the build-up for those 3, shorts, episodes, whatever, was just, hey, Gigan's coming. Second short, Gigan's still coming. Third short, they stand in front of each other. If they don't
Fourth
fight,
short, a long duel. 3, 2, 1, go.
If they don't fight in this one, I'm going to smack the
They're
table.
They're going to fight at some point. I mean, we're only 1/3 of the way through story number 4. 5.
Story 1 through 4, there was some comedy. I'm not picking up on the comedy thus far, unless you were supposed to take it more comedically. That
her talking
Zoe
with
was
the,
talking with the
cockroach. Yeah, I think was the comedy there. Otherwise, we're just going to sit here in misery.
Should I explain more?
just for our Patreon donors.
Feeling? So if you ever watched the Robin Williams, the remake, but I didn't know it was a remake when I was a kid, of Flubber.
That's a remake?
Yeah. There's an original Flubber.
Whoa, that has escaped me.
Well,
okay.
There's a little floating robot. I can't remember its name, but it starts developing feelings in that remake for Robin Williams, and it like is more sentient. But it's a floating yellow robot, and in this show, you have a floating orange robot that has two little lights at the front of it, and it follows around General Sushi, taking care of the Godzilla Island. And for the first episode of our commentaries, the whole time it's bugging me. I've seen a robot that looked just like that. It looks a ton like the little floating robot from Flubber. So, thus he shall be named Flubber.
Floating robot. Oh my gosh, I see him.
I think his name is...
I just pulled him up.
Yeah, see?
That's exactly what it looks like.
I know.
What it really is like an air compressor without all the crap on the top.
I know. It's like when you get a...
the yellow air compressor.
You're talking about film props and pirating parts and making them into film props. You want to know what the...
Pirating? That's an interesting way of doing that, yeah.
You're like... just taking something that's an everyday object and adding some tubes and spray painting it gray most of the time, and then it's this is a sci-fi prop.
60s sci-fi.
Well,
pretty much is all that, right?
You've seen Original Predator, of course, right?
I have, yeah. So what in there is...
the shoulder cannon for the Original Predator? It's just a hair dryer.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yep.
Yeah, that's smart.
It looked good. I mean, I was impressed.
All right, they're across from each other. Oh, this is new. So Gigan is using the reflection of the light off of his metal wing.
Does that count
is blinding Godzilla with it.
Does that count as an attack of Gigan's? That he's just reflecting the sun off of his... Oh my gosh.
So Gigan is running towards Godzilla, and then
that was the end of the episode. And literally everything else was just Zoe taunting General Sushi.
We were both ready for it. We got mad that it cut. Isn't that funny? You were into it enough.
I think that there's a palpable anger at this. Okay, match call. This is short 5 on story 5, 3, 2, 1. Whew. The air is thick in here, Joe. It hurts.
I don't see this as a remake. It's based on a book.
I swear I've seen an original Flubber. Because it was
I'm looking around. Okay.
Original?
1997 American science fiction comedy film directed by Les Mayfield. And written by Hughes and Bill Walsh. A remake. Oh, sorry. You are right. I just totally missed that sentence.
I didn't know that as a kid. It was when I grew up that I was like, there was an original Flubber?
A remake of The Absent-Minded Professor.
That was it. Because The Absent-Minded Professor, he has such a stark change between his cool persona and... Or no, I'm thinking of Dr. Dolittle.
Oh my
the original Dr. Dolittle.
Oh my gosh, we're just going to go all through Drew's childhood movies.
No, but...
Okay, he's running at him. Godzilla's ready. Gigan stops.
Oh, these toys. These
and
rubber...
then surprises Godzilla by jumping back.
I'm not.
And
I'm not
they're back
not
to where they
impressed
were.
with the setting that they're fighting in, because there's like a large sun behind them. That's okay. Is this Megaguirus?
This is Batra.
Yeah, something like that. One or the other. They're fighting on a plane, out on plains, which I'm sure is in Godzilla Island, some section of Godzilla Island. But it's like super washed out because it's all, I know it's orange, glowy from this like huge setting sun. It's kind of a cool backdrop for Gigan and Godzilla to fight on if they would start fighting.
I mean, they put a light up with CTO on it, and they took it away for this shot.
Yeah, so continuity be damned.
Shouldn't it be getting darker, or was it like morning?
I guess
it was morning.
The shot was cool, and then literally the next shot of that same, they looked stupid. They didn't make it orange anymore. It's just like washed
blown out sky. Yeah.
There was like a visible giant orange orb behind these figures, and then it was gone. And the next, that was pretty good.
Explain what happened. I guess
so. In anime, to save on frame in Japanese animated television. To save on frames, thereby making it cheaper and easier to produce because you don't have to pay the cartoonist, people move at such a speed, such a rapid, during fighting, that they don't actually move to us. It's just two still frames of people walking past each other, and then they're standing opposite. And it's like, who hit who?
Whoa.
And one falls. And it was Godzilla and Gigan ran past each other. They stood there. There's kind of a flashing effect as they crossed. And like Godzilla glowed red. That was the fifth. And we are on to the sixth.
Godzilla dies.
3,
I doubt
2, 1.
I doubt it. We got a lot of episodes left.
Yeah, Gigan versus Godzilla.
Just all
the clash
aftermath,
as they run past
crying.
each other. Flashing effect on Godzilla. They stood there facing apart. Godzilla fell and Gigan stood. It's like
the chicken one.
The samurai version of a Old West like draw, pistol, whatever you call it, gunslinger battle, blah blah blah. But yeah, you run past each other with 7 samurai, Joe. The two guys that like come at each other, and then
that's
they
just
both,
a quick move, and you're wondering which one hit the other one.
Because for those few moments after they
doesn't
both
do the freeze
swung,
frame thing, though.
Yeah, well, they both swing and stand there, and then one person falls.
That must be what.
So that's what happened. But Godzilla fell.
I know some guy
You're adapting
took a string and
samurai film. I don't know. It's so cool that I wouldn't want to call it a cliche, but the sword slash adapting it to giant kaiju.
There's got to be some like fan phrase for that thing, whatever that is.
I mean, what would Godzilla have done in that like running at each other? Because Godzilla has like claws, but Gigan has straight up scythes for arms. Gigan's gonna win that duel.
So that absent-minded
Mothra.
Yep, regular Mothra.
That's not too bad of a figure. I wouldn't mind having that figure. Honestly, looks very plastic, but it's the paint job ain't bad.
It's doing its sparkle move.
Oh, I want
Rodan.
That Rodan looks great. I want a Rodan figure so bad, like original.
Rodan picks up Godzilla.
Cool.
Why?
They're gonna nurture Godzilla back to health. Rodan will feed it those Meganuli bugs.
Did we ever figure out why the bugs were there?
To feed off.
They were just unearthed at some point.
It's one of those really cool. They were just like Rodan was hidden under the earth. They were hidden under the earth, and then because of human mining,
I don't love poking holes in plot, but why would a creature with wings be stuck under the earth?
It was in an egg.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Drew, I saw that movie like 3 times for the show.
I love
and for some reason, I'm just like 4 times. I saw it 4 times.
You watch it come out of the egg when the flashback hits.
Yeah, Rodan's not as big.
Rodan set him in hot springs.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh my gosh, the comedy.
Wow.
He actually zoomed in on Rodan dropping Godzilla into what appeared to be hot springs. The camera pulled out just a little bit, and there was a sign that I'm sure said "hot springs."
What if it doesn't, Drew?
So
it was like
things
poison
they've done
acid.
funny with Godzilla, giving him handcuffs. All right,
for sure next
time. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that's the next episode. Godzilla size handcuffs. Godzilla size hot spring.
That's right.
I find that
Godzilla
extremely
sized
humorous.
sign for it.
He'd better have a Godzilla
Well,
size.
there's something about the
foam.
special effects here. I'm not really buying the scale.
It's as if you adapted some sort of a fan cartoon into like actual episodes of a really strange TV show. Because like I could totally see, kind of Peanuts style comedy where it's very dry and like adult like, but you would have them just, and anytime, and again to go with Peanuts, if you were to adapt Godzilla and Friends into a comic, whenever it's Snoopy and Woodstock, they don't have thought bubbles most of the time. It's all shown through like just their movements, what they do. It could be pretty funny with Godzilla. Somebody get on that. Do a Godzilla comic.
I don't know about that. I don't know how I feel
Joe,
about that.
we found it humorous that he was in a Godzilla-sized hotspot.
Okay. So the absent-minded
chilling.
professor from
Yeah.
1961
Yep.
had a sequel called Son of Flubber. So they just called, when they remade the remake, they just straight up called the first
I want to
Flubber.
see the flubber effects from the original because, like, that was something that really got me as a kid watching that when he's, like, jumping around. All the players were the basketball team that, like, Robin Williams' character, I guess the absent-minded professor, sticks those tacks of flubber on the bottom of their shoes so they could, like, win. Effects like that really... I loved that as a kid. Watched that movie many, many times.
That was just like early, like CG, right? Like late 90s CG.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm really curious as to what the effects look like in that original, because that would have been much earlier on, probably a lot of blue screen stuff.
I do wonder.
Man, even
Must
like...
have been like stop motion or something. If it was like the same thing.
You're kidding me. You missed this.
Yes, I did.
King Caesar went and joined Godzilla in the hot springs, and Gigan shows up, and you think there's going to be another fight, and King Caesar...
Gosh.
King Caesar, who's been chilling in the hot springs with Godzilla, comes out to fight Gigan, who's come to visit them in the hot springs. And Gigan straight up walks past them, and they slowly turn as they're like not believing what's going on. Gigan's in the hot springs now.
And he like brushed himself off.
Yeah, he like
Right.
scratched himself with his claw, with his scythe hands.
Which is really
Oh, this
Okay, well.
series.
to be continued.
To me, Joe, so far, this is a height. This is a height for the series.
Okay.
The
It's not for me, but okay. Decisive battle last night.
3, 2, 1. We have 3 more of these for Story 5, folks. And the madness continues. From short to short, I don't know what's going to happen.
That's true, Drew. None of us know what's going to happen.
It's like
because we don't speak
you
Japanese.
think that the writers for this just drink a lot of sake and
I'm sure they hate their lives.
threw ideas at the wall?
that when
Or
they
was
were
there
making
a
this.
really one or the other, or it was a really, really well-intentioned higher up in Toho that just was like, what are kids gonna like? I have some grandkids, or maybe he has some kids that I think would love this, and here's the idea you pitched, and then you just had people,
This is how we sell toys. We make the toys act.
but a really like good-hearted, this is what's gonna work. Or a lot of guys, or it could be a combination of the two. The writers could just be tossing sake down and waking up the next morning like, that'll work. Whatever they wrote.
whatever it is.
It's like, oh man, there are so many. South Park and Family Guy. South Park, they like enter into Family Guy's like the hidden word pool where there's
Manatees?
like manatees
that are making the decisions for it.
grab the word
Random crap
balls
together. Yeah. Gosh, I love that episode too.
Oh, South Park is genius.
What was it, Al Qaeda or something?
I showed
like,
you, right? I
angry
just
at
received
Family
like the
Guy.
first 11 or 13 seasons of that show on DVD.
Oh,
Just
man,
received them. Somebody was giving away. I'm like, I'll
you got to
take
get to
that.
season 19 now. That's the best.
Well,
season
you
of
showed me
South
some
Park
episodes
ever.
from there. I really.
Gosh, it's just like die.
What is going on?
I
This
don't
is
know,
so
man.
hard to
Space
follow.
stuff. Or
I
she's
thi-
just looking in the sky.
Are they going to fight? I don't think that Gigan and Godzilla and Caesar are going to fight.
Did she like?
She's wishing
pray?
upon a star.
Okay,
Michelle Jackson is out on a walk with Flubber,
Oh, that is.
a.k.a. the Flubberbot.
I don't like that shot.
No, it's creepy.
Flubberbot looking over her shoulder.
Yeah, it like crept up over her shoulder. She was in the far right of this shot, like pretty close up, and then it just came over her shoulder.
I mean, really, wishing upon a star. You want me to?
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh my gosh!
Flubber's actually
So now, no, they're back in the field.
this is like
they're staring at each other again.
This is just. This is infuriating.
No, it is. It's 100% infuriating.
Short 8-ish. Okay, this is the second to last one for story 5, and story 6 had better be. Okay, it had a high point. This story had a high point at the giant spa that all the monsters were bathing in, because that was funny. It had its own little sign.
Conviction of King Caesar. You're three seconds behind.
Yeah, go for it, guys.
In case you actually
skip story 5, except for somewhere in the middle when they are in a hot spring. The actor who plays General Sushi, I think his name was Jiro Dan. That guy had some crazy television credits prior to this.
I thought it was like a bunch of Ultraman. Am I crazy?
A ton of Ultraman. Okay.
I think we did. We talked about him last time.
Well, but did we mention it surprised me how much he had been in. I guess he was a recurring character for years. Hideki Go in The Return of Ultraman.
Yeah.
He was
Hideki Go.
I think he is an Ultraman. Like, he is Ultraman Jack. 71, 72, The Return of Ultraman. He also was in 72's Ultraman Ace, Ultraman Taro, no, probably Taro, in 73, 74, and Ultraman Leo in 1974. So several years worth of Ultraman. Lots of other.
Still plays the voice of Ultraman.
Oh, yeah, 2006, 2007.
2009, 2010, 2012.
Yeah, still kicking. Guy's still. Last movie he was
Ultra
in was
Fight Orb from 2017.
He played in a movie, Ultraman Saga 2012, and his last film that he's credited here, What a Wonderful Family, 2016, at a spry almost 80 years old. 70.
These actors seem to last a long freaking time over in Japan, Drew.
Currently, he would be aged. Nope, I am wrong. My math is my math 1949 to 2018. 69.
No, don't even ask me. I got nothing on me right now. I haven't slept in 3 days. I'm watching this stupid cartoon.
Why haven't you slept in 3 days?
I'm trying to wake up earlier, but I'm still staying up late.
Godzilla is sensing the force. Because I'm just trying to make heads or tails of this battle that's about to. They're literally in this. Oh my gosh, he's actually sensing the force. Because there's like Godzilla closed his eyes, which was kind of a curious effect over the action figure. And then there's this like glowing something around Godzilla.
He's 69 years old. You're right.
Gotta wrap up in the next short. Godzilla's gonna just like blast Ultraman. Gonna blast Gigan off into space, and we're done with story 5.
It doesn't know. There might be another page there.
C. Wonderful fighting technique. Joe, if we had been missing stuff, because
C. Wonderful fighting technique.
So far, Joe's talking about the menu. It's all at a slant, and it's very hard to be precise about what you're selecting. And then at the bottom of the menu, there are arrows on both sides, one of which takes us back to the main menu, one of which may bring us to more shorts in an episode, in a story.
I want more, Drew.
So far, though, I don't believe we missed anything.
No, that is the last one. C, wonderful fighting technique. Okay.
Good.
This is the last.
So I don't know why there are 2 arrows at the bottom of our main menu, because they both must just take us back to the...
Godzilla's blinking in a terrible way.
There's Gorosaurus, Baragon, Rodan, onlookers to this battle. It was really horribly paced out, these shorts. They're real funny right in the middle, and then it went exactly back to where it was.
You're supposed to watch these in like one at a time.
And here we are binging. Exactly the way they wrote this. Is he just doing his... Wait, what is he doing?
He's...
Oh, I think he's attacking the UFO that... What the... No.
Why?
Even for a Godzilla fan, that was too much. Godzilla's atomic breath, he appeared to shoot it directly into the sky.
Wow.
Do you want to describe what happened to his atomic breath?
He shoots
curved.
the atomic breath into the sky.
It
Gigan
boomerangs.
starts running at him, and then it basically boomerangs in one solid line like a licorice candy being
the
bent.
atomic breath turned around.
And then it hits Gigan in the back while
Physics
he's
be
running
damned.
towards Godzilla. Well, it's, whatever. It's Godzilla, but
and
we've
then
never seen that before. I will say.
Then, as Gigan, because Gigan took that atomic blast into the sky as his opportunity to bum rush Godzilla, come straight at him. That's when the atomic breath bent around and hit Gigan in the back, hitting Gigan into Godzilla, where Godzilla takes the opportunity to roundhouse kick Gigan out cold.
Yeah. So we waited an entire story for one fight. That ended
Really
it.
for 2 moves, because Godzilla did his boomerang atomic breath, which now I know that's possible.
It's a rice hat.
Yeah, I was telling you
Spaceship.
that in the first commentary. That's the Zillion spaceship.
I don't know if you know
thought,
it's true. It's been like 6 weeks since we did that commentary.
I thought it was a opposing Godzilla island. Joe,
Oh, like an upside down one?
well, that she comes down and all of the enemy kaiju, Gigan, Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla, they're all on the opposing island.
Got it.
See how cool that would have been? It's just too hard, though. When you're riding on sake. Oh, here we are.
Straight up.
All right.
46. Oh man, dude, I'm about to pass out.
Here you go, Joe.
I can't.
Oh, you can't. You'll have a migraine.
Can't.
I offered him a monster.
Well, I don't know if I will have a migraine.
There's
I
no
probably
sugar-
won't
sugar-free.
because I didn't drink caffeine last time I had a migraine.
Godzilla Island Story 6. Mothra. Infant Mothra. 3, 2, 1.
Anyway,
What do you want to talk about, Joe, since you're the one that's passing out here? I know
I'm
needed
legitimately
this monster.
freaking tired. I'm afraid I have to drive an hour and a half up north after this, so that'll be fun.
Better purchase yourself some diet soda.
Yeah, can't do that. I gotta go to bed early today.
But to get
It's
you
gonna
home,
be
Joe, this is for
Me
your safety.
singing at the top of my lungs all the way up north to Ogden, so I'll
Yeah,
destroy
that
my
works.
hearing, but I will get sleep.
I remember, trying to stay awake with music that's just it's turned up a little loud. For
Yeah,
me,
Drew,
for me
I-
that's worked.
I
That's
turn
worked
it up.
in the past.
I turn it up real loud because my hearing's already gone. The set for Mothra talking to Mothra,
It's pretty cool.
talking to turd
They're
to
in a
turd
cave.
form. Mothra.
This is like nearly every
It's not
episode.
bad.
Yeah, nearly every movie that features Mothra that we've seen thus far and that I'm aware of, Mothra usually passes away and then another Mothra takes its place. If it doesn't happen in the movie, it's referenced outside of the movie that, hey, this is a new Mothra. So it's a continuous cycle of rebirth, and there's definitely some sort of deeper.
Story 6 is all Mothra. It's called the Mothra and Mothra Leo Saga.
Hey,
Which one do you think is Mothra and which one do you think is Mothra Leo?
I wonder if there's going to be a color difference in them.
I don't know.
So far, we see what appears to be a dying Mothra, fully formed adult Mothra on the ground, speaking to an infant Mothra, and Michelle is
Jeez, the green screen. on
she's
this
grieving. Yeah, they both stepped outside of General Sushi's base, and you're right. I don't know. This is 96. I think these ones were released in 97. So, yeah, we're solidly in green screen era. Oh man, is this the same Michelle?
Michelle.
Because I think she looks a teeny bit different, but I can't tell.
Get another close up on her at some point.
Will you be able to remember the way she looked at the beginning?
I can.
Okay. I only appear to have one actress, credited for the role of Michelle Jackson, the only good alien in the
Straight
series.
up, comet comes down to Earth, and that's all that happens.
That's really cool. Whoa. That is cool. We're viewing a preview for the next episodes. Okay, Joe. These are totally from films.
from the movies. That must be Rebirth of Mothra.
Yeah, because Joe, 96 was Rebirth of Mothra, and 97 was Rebirth of Mothra 2.
These episodes are 97.
Yeah, and these are coming out in 97, so way to get people hyped for Rebirth of Mothra 2. All right, a doubtful delivery charge, 3, 2, 1. That's short 2 and story 6, folks.
Drew, I know you've never seen Rebirth of Mothra.
We watched a rather extensive commercial that was more like a scene from one of the Rebirth of Mothras. It was in the features of one of these like very early on Godzilla films we watched. It hurt to watch just the scenes, so I can't even imagine.
Drew.
Can't begin to imagine a full movie.
It is terrible.
Hey, at least...
And I can't believe there were sequels to it.
Well, is this for the good or for worse?
For the good or for the worse?
Or for the worse.
Yeah.
Are we better off for or worse off for having subtitles, at least for the Rebirth of Mothra, and knowing what's going on? Because this series, we're out on a limb.
That's true, yeah. There is a movie. That's true. There is a story.
Yeah, it's one, and you know what?
But
I guess this was approved, too, for television, but, I mean...
I did see it
approved
only,
as a
like,
film.
it's been 4 or 5 years since I saw it last.
Have you seen... You said you'd seen the first 2 Rebirth of Mothra?
Just the one.
Just the
Just
one.
the first one.
I haven't even seen one of them.
And I just remember it being painfully terrible.
The CG that I
And
remember
hilarious.
from, I believe it was Rebirth of Mothra 1, they were like 2 priests or like priestesses in what looked like a shrine, and the CG of a small Mothra that came in reminded me of the... I want to say it's
I don't remember
Labyrinth.
any CG. I remember there being some composite effects with models, like model Mothras flapping.
Well,
There's like a little Mothra.
The Labyrinth owl at the beginning, it looked like that level of CG, which is early on
That's
CG.
not, I would say that's another composite thing. They didn't have
Okay.
computer generated
It looked
imagery. They had
CG.
composited stuff.
What is going on? Like
They
General
could have done it in
Sushi's getting
computer,
fed
but-
noodles by what is very clearly Zoe. He's about to take a bite, but Michelle is stopping him. Oh, he's going to eat it, and
Drew,
he's
did
going
you
to
eat?
get poison. You're a blaster. Yeah. Are you feeling it?
I only had a salad this morning. I woke
Why
up,
didn't you eat?
ate a salad. Well, because I had to be here at
Oh, my
4:40.
God. Oh.
Okay, so we got...
Okay, Zoe is
Evil
under a
lady.
hood, and we only see her lips and like her nose.
She's pretending to be a fortune teller, and the comet is
yes.
starting to light up, and then we're getting another commercial for...
I'm wondering if this is going to mirror parts... Okay, having not seen Rebirth of Mothra, does this actually somewhat add to the Rebirth of Mothra story? Does it tie in any way? An ill-omened premonition.
I'm pretty sure that's just an advertisement. I'm pretty sure that's telling us make sure to go see Mothra.
3, 2, 1, go.
I'll stop when you say go. I'd rather do that. I think it's just a commercial after the show is over.
But what I'm saying
make
is-
sure to go see Rebirth of Mothra in theaters.
Is these
Ugh.
shorts that make up story 6, does it add to the movie?
I doubt it.
Okay.
I very
just
much
all,
doubt it. I think Godzilla Island is not canon.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure that Godzilla in Handcuffs and Godzilla A Day at the Godzilla-sized Spa is all canon.
Now, we've only watched 2 of the movies from the Heisei era so far, right? We haven't done a commentary for the second
3
one yet.
technically.
Oh, I'm sorry.
84 bled into...
We've done 2 commentaries. We've watched 3 of the movies.
Yeah, because Joe and I have viewed Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, a retcon of a lot of stuff, and we'll talk about that, but we've not yet recorded on that.
No, we haven't. And so I don't know if Monster Island is a thing or not.
You totally don't remember, right? In Yu-Gi-Oh, the second story arc, Joe.
How is he going to bring up Yu-Gi-Oh on this show?
Well,
Time!
Joe, there's a crystal ball that she's like seeing into. Yugi gets his right at the beginning of the Duelist City
Yu-Gi-Oh
arc.
invented crystal balls, as we all know.
Joe, Bandit Keith steals Yugi's. He steals Yugi's Millennium Puzzle.
Yu-Gi boy.
Yugi boy.
Oh my gosh.
Mokuba. I'm Seto Kaiba.
Seto Kaiba.
Blue Eyes White Dragon. Hey, that wasn't half bad.
That wasn't, actually. That was pretty good. Okay,
All
so
right,
now
but
she's like playing mind games with her.
She was she was appearing to like have a crystal ball. She was predicting Michelle's future. I'm guessing saying something about Godzilla will fall, you will all perish.
It's funny,
and
if
she
we
had
were
a
so
hood on.
wrong.
That's what happens with the brainwashed Bandit Keith from Merrick.
What if Zoe was the good guy?
Who?
Zoe.
Zoe's not the good.
But what if she was
Zoe
true?
just
What
wants
if we're totally misreading this show because we have no subtitles? What if Zoe wants to save humanity?
She's a zillion. Zillions cannot be good guys. Joe, these shows, there's no subtle nuance to Godzilla.
Oh!
It's Hedorah. I hope it's Hedorah.
It must be.
The meteor that came from space that
By
we've
the
been
way,
waiting
guys,
about
go
2
see
shorts.
Rebirth of Mothra. I assume 2 because this looks... I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, and this is 97, which is when Rebirth of Mothra 2 came out. We're seeing a lot of scenes from Rebirth of Mothra 2. Oh, no.
Jeez, the freaking
no.
menu's acting up again.
I got it for... Oh,
You had it!
There.
Oh!
There we
Yes!
go. Return the blue sky and vegetation. 3, 2, 1. Why not return the blue vegetation and
Episode
blue milk
4.
while you're at it?
Drew, I just saw a shadow move past the doorway. Is someone home?
Yeah.
Okay. I got the headphones on. I'm not hearing anything.
Now I'm being robbed right now, Joe.
Yeah. What if you are, Drew?
What is your canon for this? What's going? So
I put it in the cannon and then I blast it off. That's what I do with this show.
So you think that Zoe is a good guy?
I'm just saying it'd be interesting if we were wrong. It's like, oh, she tries so hard, but she keeps getting thwarted by these two.
So we just whipped off the hood and cape that she was using as she's like looking at the crystal ball. And keep in mind, Michelle had a gun aimed at Zoe that entire time. She was not having any of this crystal ball lunacy. When Zoe whipped the cape off and hood, she kind of hit herself in the face. So that was but they kept that
I
in.
didn't even notice that. That has to be Hedorah.
It looks like so the 2 shorts ago.
Steam is spewing out. Now there's a tornado. For some reason.
Joe, it's smog that's coming up across the island.
Smog.
This may be our first viewing of an alternate monster, as in, like, I heard there was bigger forms of certain, or just alternate, maybe not more powerful forms of some monsters that did not appear in any Godzilla movies.
Well, if it's Hedorah.
This is absolutely Hedorah because it's blowing smog into the sky and Godzilla's being blasted with, it looks like fog, but it's definitely like noxious fumes because all the monsters are falling down.
If it's Hedorah, it's odd because he came in as a
Acid
comet,
rain. Oh, man.
as opposed to coming from the sea.
I don't mind those shots of the monsters where they're being rained on and it was like really dark out. Those being miniatures on a very miniature set, like little action figures, they made it look rainy and dark and lit it well enough, which I'm giving kudos to everything I can on this series. And that's,
It's a moving image. Drew.
It's not a
cool.
bad looking moving image. It was a more than decent.
It's like 120 years ago.
Image.
They couldn't even do this.
Those pipes. There's like
She's got great pipes, Drew.
Whenever you see Zoe, I'm guessing that's
Just a
like
bunch of
the
vacuum
entirety
tubes
of her
glued
set.
to a box and
Exactly.
spray painted silver.
Her command console to her ship looks like, and it's always very tight on her command console and her when she's in her
There's
ship.
nothing else
That
there,
set
Drew.
is so small they can't pull out. They can at least show the set where General Sushi and Michelle are from several angles because it's a larger set.
Make sure to go see Rebirth of Mothra 2, guys.
Don't forget, see Rebirth of Mothra 2.
I assume it's 2. No idea.
Yeah, here we are. The birth of Hedorah. No. I can't get to
Just
it.
keep going. Just keep going. It'll happen
I
eventually.
may need to.
I remember one time it happened.
There we go.
It took
3, 2, 1. The birth of Hedorah. I was hoping to avoid that like 30 seconds of just trying to select it.
Can you explain what's happening on the menu again?
It's on a slant.
Right.
So you can either, to select the next episode, you can either go down or go to the right because it's not straight up and down. And so sometimes neither selection process works. And Joe, passing out here.
Dying.
You're certainly close enough to the mic for everyone to hear that one.
Oh, I'm dying.
Joe,
I am. There's a hard limiter. They'll hear it.
Joe is now loosening the mic.
Just tell me what happens.
What do you need, Joe?
I'm
What,
just gonna take a nap.
Joe? What do you crave? Are you even hungry?
What the heck is that sound? Oh, there's some little electronic thing going on. It's like,
Yeah, in the background. I don't think it'll pick up.
oh, I think it will because things pick up.
Well, you know.
Oh well. Hopefully the sound isn't crazy for you guys at home.
Michelle flying her little orange, crappy-looking space. It really looks like something I would have gotten out of the quarter toy machine at a grocery store.
It looks awful.
Yeah.
I'd say out of a Fruit Loops box.
What
That's how bad it looks, Drew.
What the ship, Zoe's ship, keeps reminding me of, you said rice hat. We've said it's like an opposing island because it really is very conical at the top. It reminds me of a hat because it has bladed edges seemingly around the outside, the perimeter of the ship. Yeah, Raiden, exactly. Or like a Shredder from certain TMNT series. I have the Shredder from the
Mortal Kombat.
pretty
Christopher Lambert, Mortal Kombat.
Christopher Lambert for Raiden. He's the one true Raiden.
Is that why nobody likes the second one? Because he's not Raiden anymore.
I'm pretty sure nobody likes the second one because of now you will die.
Mother.
It's she either says you will die or you must die, but that pause for dramatic effect is like,
no, you. It's no, you will die. It's the exchange in that it doesn't make any sense, and then the way that she delivers it as well. It's hilarious.
hey, it is Hedorah. What do you know? The name of the episode was Birth of Hedorah, and he is being birthed.
And then it
Man,
ends.
I would love to have a
Just looks
Hedorah
like
figure. I'm sorry for any fans that aren't fans of Hedorah, like the Godzilla versus the Smog Monster, the movie. I really like that one. It's weird.
Oh boy.
I think that's a very divisive one, it appears. You know, Joe.
Drew, I'm dying here. Aiming at Mothra.
3, 2, 1.
Go.
I was thinking about the Godzilla fandom yesterday.
Yeah.
You know what we are? We're strange. Because the only reason this
we're
fandom...
cashes is what
no,
I would hear at a
not
video
you and
game
I.
thing.
I'm talking about fandom, the
Okay.
entirety of the Godzilla fandom. The only reason this fandom exists is through movies, which usually to sustain any sort of a fan culture, you have to have consistent, basically TV show, TV shows worth of stuff.
Well, that's pretty much Godzilla. There's a lot of movies, Drew.
Well, yes, but I'm saying I
don't know if I agree with that.
It's only because we have those movies, and we're lucky we do have them. But unlike fans of TV shows that can go from story arc to story arc, like this character or the other, you just got to pop in movies. It's so strange to think about because
that's strange to you.
Yeah, because all of my other here's a confession.
All of
of mine.
your other ones are.
I check out many Reddit. It's just the source of here's this Reddit page for Yu-Gi-Oh. Here's this one for Dragon Ball Z. Here's this one for this show or the other. Power Rangers, TMNT, all that stuff. Pokemon. The Godzilla one, it's a fandom built out of movies. It's so unique. We're very unique.
I don't think it's that unique, Drew.
What other fan culture is there that's to this degree? I'm saying it's to a level.
Bigger, James Bond.
Yes, but what I'm saying,
all movies. There's comic books too, and Godzilla has comic books.
Cross fandoms. It seems like if you're a fan of Godzilla, you're going to be a fan of all these Japanese animated shows.
Really?
I would think so.
I'm not sure if I'm getting what you're putting down, Drew. I'm just not getting it.
I think you're a unique Godzilla fan. Because of my love for Godzilla, I spread out into I want to see it. Oh, I was already watching Power Rangers. Let's check out this.
You want to see more tokusatsu type stuff?
Yeah, and it's mostly TV series. I mean, lucky for the fans of stuff like Ultraman, or I believe there's even...
I thought you were saying it was
Power
just
Ranger
weird
movies.
to be a fan of a movie series. I'm like, what are you talking about?
It's weird to be as obsessive a fan as we are as Godzilla fans. Because it feels like we're fans of something that is more of a TV show. Because,
more appropriate as a TV show?
It would have been more appropriate, I don't know. I don't know necessarily that the same fans who love things like, yes, a giant franchise like Star Wars.
Sure, we missed that entire episode.
Good for it. I don't care. You know what happened? Hedorah went against Godzilla, and they didn't actually fight.
All right. I'm sure sure you're right.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around why we exist and how this fandom exists, because we're really...
Where do we come from, Drew?
Where do we come from? Where do we go? Where do we come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
This fandom exists because these movies are fun to watch. That's why.
The Tear of Mothra. 3, 2, 1, go.
You're terrible at that countdown.
I am
today.
terrible at that countdown. Why? Because I don't care.
If anybody's following along, they're going to be pissed.
Sure.
Hey, there's that sound again. It's your phone. You got to get your phone off the wires.
Wow, that's good to know.
Yeah, it was a lucky guess of me lifting up something and it went away.
All of you podcasters out there, don't set your smartphone on the cords for the mics.
On the
Apparently,
cords that cross each other, yeah.
It's gonna make a noise. I don't know. We're just.
I'm not quite sure what your point is. Still,
I'm just trying to figure out where our fandom lies. Like, the cross fandom is people who like Godzilla are gonna like Japanese stuff that is not necessarily a movie franchise.
Okay.
Yeah. I
All
don't
right.
know. And we don't have. It's just.
I would say there's a good overlap between Star Wars and Star Trek.
Maybe where I'm getting at is it's good how we've been able to sustain ourselves without really being like core video games, aside from the like original Xbox era, PlayStation 2, those really good fighting games, because we haven't had super good Godzilla fighting games. I'm not aware of a Godzilla trading card game that was like big.
Dude, really, there's gotta be one.
But we just have the movies and figures. Like, the fact that is enough to sustain what is seemingly a very healthy, fan culture just for Godzilla is amazing. Like, the power of Godzilla astounds me. That we're able to keep this going without ever having a real TV show. Like, this is... I guess you're thinking that now. That's a really millennial thought to think, that you're watching movies and that there must be a TV show on it. Well, that's a very new thing, Drew. Just the fact that we're able to keep it going, like keep ourselves, because we keep on pumping out the movies. Drew. Exactly, we go long stretches. It's not like there's been a long running series where there's like Ultraman, for example, or Power Rangers. It like reinvents itself with different seasons, but. Man, I'm still thinking there's a lot of overlap between Godzilla and James Bond in that way. I know James Bond is based on books. Do you think, you're not saying that James Bond fans are Godzilla fans, like a majority? No. Okay. Just so maybe, type of mentality. We are just not communicating around something. I don't get what you're saying at all. The entire short was Mothra dropping Hedorah into a volcano. Okay. But like James Bond has stayed a huge franchise, and it's based almost entirely on the movie. It's not like there's a whole bunch of toys on it. But I see James Bond fans and there's no crossover. It's not like there's a James Bond TV show. There's not. Yeah, they're not. So there's two. They're not having Mission Impossible versus James Bond. We have two series that are that way. Star Wars doesn't have it. Well, I guess it did, or like later. Mothra's Sorrow. 3, 2, 1, go. Well, Star Wars sustained itself with pretty much every entertainment medium. It was like you get the movie, and then I bet people were writing. But we all know the movie's the only thing that matters. So maybe that's Godzilla's. Maybe you could say that for Godzilla. I would say that's for Godzilla. I would say that for most series that started as movies, they stay as movies, or their biggest thing was movies. It's just another thing. Another thought would be that as fans of Godzilla, why hasn't there ever been a really good TV series with Godzilla? Because they pull off other tokusatsu stuff. I do wonder, because they pull off Ultraman and they pull off giant Zords or mechas if you're watching them in Japan, and Super Sentai. So there is television that focuses on giant things battling. You could totally do that with Godzilla. And we have, but in small amounts. Yeah, in extremely small amounts with Zone Fighter. That was it. That's the only television series where we had a live action Godzilla for what consisted of 4 or 5 episodes of a 20-25 episode season. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good amount. But that was clear back in the 70s. We haven't had one since, which is you find that odd. Okay. Well, the Godzilla animated film that we're getting, the trilogy, like the one that's now released in Japan, and we're waiting to get it over here, the Godzilla something with Earth. It's a really long title. that was supposed to be a TV series, and then the way that the story developed, they're like, maybe this would work better as 3 films. What is she like next to?
She's talking to a cocoon.
Oh, that's what that's supposed to be? Because it looks like 2 cotton swabs.
That is what it is.
And she's green screen in front of... See, that's why I didn't get it. I'm like, is that snow?
It's definitely 2 cotton swabs put together, Drew.
How many times has Mothra died in this story?
Photographed and blown up against her footage against a green screen.
It's because I was like, it looks like snow. Hedorah's about to come out. I didn't see... Oh, I love Hedorah's cry, like his roar. It's very creepy. It's not like a strong, powerful roar. It's very alien. It sounds like something that would come from like a synth machine. Oh man, we haven't seen extremely expressive Zoe in a while. Her brows are going up and down. She was waving her hands around.
She's always expressive, Drew. It's not so.
The last story, she was not. The last story, she was real subdued, and so far in story 6, she hasn't shown off her acting. I don't know, her villainousness.
Okay,
we're about halfway through story 6. Oh, we're almost at the end.
We're almost at the end. The will of the adult Mothra.
Well, Joe, I was looking for something to talk about. Where's your subject?
I got nothing, Drew.
Absolutely nothing?
Nothing, man. I need more caffeine and sleep before I do one of these things again.
You know, so luckily we only have one more story to go through after this, but this is our second to last short in story 6. All Mothra, all the time. We have not witnessed Godzilla in here because get out of here, Godzilla. You're not wanted in this Godzilla Island series, apparently. This story should be Mothra Island.
It is. That's what they called it. Mothra something, the story. Yeah. They called
definitely just a promotion for the...
Called it Mothra and Mothra Leo Saga.
Toho's film. I haven't seen Mothra Leo.
I think it's the Mothra in the cocoon.
So is it going to come out like
That's
this
what I assume. I assume
one?
that this episode or the next one is Mothra's going to come out and save Godzilla.
One thing that has bugged me about one of many things...
Never mind, or her, because apparently... Hedorah sneaking up on Michelle Jackson. Oh,
Michelle pointed her. Oh, Godzilla saves the day.
Jinx.
1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You owe me a soda.
What? No, I said Jinx first. There's no delay in these headphones, Drew. I was clear that I said Jinx first.
Darn you, Joe. Darn you. Hey, I bought you Chick-fil-A. I guess that was for your birthday.
Appreciate it.
I owed Joe a birthday lunch.
How long
here we were talking about how this is ish close to. It was close to a year after your birthday. I made good on my promise.
I appreciate it.
So we were just talking about how, Godzilla, get out of here. We don't need you. Godzilla shows up to save the day.
Right. Shows right up.
Guess what I watched this weekend? All in one day. I watched, first off, oh gosh, what was the movie? Lady Bird.
Okay, yeah, that's a great
Then
one.
I watched The Florida Project.
I haven't seen that one. I want to see that one.
It's became one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh, okay.
They're all on.
I heard that it was snubbed, that it should have been nominated for Best Picture, and that it wasn't.
They're all on Amazon Prime right now.
Is that
and
one
then
on
I
Amazon Prime?
almost finished Moonlight, which was last year's.
Yeah, last year's winner.
I'm in the part where he's an adult now.
Or was it La La Land? No,
it was Moonlight.
It was Moonlight.
The infamous debacle.
Yes.
Hey, there you go. There is actually Mothra Leo, and it's a much more colorful Mothra. Not that Mothra isn't colorful, but this one's straight rainbow. It's got green and purple in its wings, and the face is different as well. I still prefer Mothra's design.
Me too.
Mothra flaps its wings. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, it's almost over, Drew.
I wonder how many different Mothras we're going to see in Rebirth of Mothra.
I have no idea.
So far, 2.
No,
I think I even saw a third in all these scenes from the movie.
Oh, what did you think of...
Lady Bird was really good.
It's
just sad that I watched the Florida Project afterward because it totally put it to bed. Just hello, one of...
Lady Bird was because I watched all the Best Picture nominees.
If you don't watch any of these Oscar nominee movies, and I really like Lady Bird,
Lady Bird was my second choice on that one.
The Florida Project just fantastic. fantastic.
Okay, I will watch it, Drew. Don't worry.
I
still need to see that Shane. What the heck is that filmmaker's name? Shane.
what movie was it?
Crap. Tangerine was this other movie that
Okay.
I needed to see.
Was it an Oscar nom?
No, it wasn't. It was just a big deal. It was the movie that was shot on the iPhone that was actually good.
That's the last last couple scenes from the Florida Project. It has a pretty stark change from traditional film to just suddenly boom, movie ends with this couple scenes shot on an iPhone.
I loved Lady Bird. I loved
Lady Bird was very good.
I loved 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbings,
I
Missouri.
still want to see that movie. I wonder if that one's on Amazon.
I watched all the Best Picture nominees, and I think that one was way better than all the other ones.
That one also seemed a very divisive one. Most people very in favor of it.
Because,
I'm just saying some
there are
people
characters in it that never got punished.
Yeah, yep.
That were, I guess, racist characters.
Mm-hmm. That's what I heard a lot of too.
And in my opinion, it's
wow.
the movie isn't racist just because there's a racist character.
Mothra Leo completely dried up Hedorah, and then there was a little
became
orb.
a cherry, and then Godzilla stepped on the cherry.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it looks like to me.
Popped. Yeah, that was
No
the end of that
comment
one.
on that one.
That was the end of that episode. Very similar to Hedorah's. So the story writers for Godzilla Island could not think of a new. Oh, Ghost Mothra! It suddenly appeared, glowing out of nowhere. Sorry if you guys are hearing the back of my chair. I'm going to quit doing that. Yeah. So, Simba, you're right. Ghost Mothra appeared in the sky, original Mothra, to talk to Mothra Leo. Is that like the continuation of Mothra? They're trying to reinvent Mothra when Mothra did not need any sort of reinvention.
I don't know. Where's the case to that movie?
To Godzilla Island?
No, Rebirth of Mothra.
It's somewhere in there. You could find it. It's in, I'll start the next one. All right, so we are finished with story 6. That one was all Mothra all the time. And this is the final story of Disc 1. And this is our final story for this episode's filled with commentaries. Zagoresu, Giant Shortfall Army. 3, 2, 1, go.
You get digital copies of all of them?
Yeah.
Well, I put it on Caleb's Voodoo account so he can have like a bajillion more movies, or you got your own?
Are you telling me you want other ways to view Rebirth of Mothra?
Yes. I'm so excited, dude.
I'm surprised it comes with a Voodoo link.
Do you have...
No.
Dude, I had a friend who was really weird about, don't open it. I want to open it. It's mine. the plastic around his video games.
Who was it?
It was someone.
Does the name start with a D?
The name does start with a D.
I totally called it. All right, we're good. Moving on.
I was hoping for more pictures on the case.
Well,
Okay, she's looking in a mirror. Zoe's looking in a mirror.
And it was called Zagoresu, which is her name, Zoe.
She's having a conversation.
Giant Shortfall Army.
Herself.
Yeah, exactly. She's speaking to the sky, and she's emoting rather theater actorly.
That is her thing. She's very big.
But this is the first time I've seen. Yeah, she lends herself to big expressions. She's really comical. Rebirth of Mothra. When an accident uncovers the secret chamber of Hedorah, a 3-headed monster capable of turning Earth's green landscape into a barren desert, desperate measures are needed. The tiny twins, Maul and Laura.
Measures are needed?
Yeah, necessary to counter whatever Hedorah is doing. The tiny twins, Maul and Laura,
to me. I think
must
that's the
call
wrong
forth
word,
the
though.
long, silent powers of Mothra to battle this terrible creature. The lush Hokkaido rainforest is the setting for the big battle to save the Earth, in this colorful cosmic adventure. We're going to have to sit through 106 minutes of that. Not bad.
That's pretty long, Drew. It's pretty long.
No.
For what we've been doing, yeah, it is.
Hour and 36. Hour and 46, right? Yeah.
That was 1996.
Okay, that is kind of long. That's like an extra 15 minutes I didn't need.
Dude, Fairy Mothra.
And that was the description for Rebirth of Mothra 1.
Yeah, as opposed to the episode of...
Oh, Joe.
What?
She's got a giant monster selector? That's an entirely Mecha Ghidorah.
Mecha Ghidorah.
We just witnessed and will speak about in the future commentary Mecha Ghidorah, where the middle head is robot. All 3 heads on this thing were robotic. I wonder if that's going to show up in a movie.
I bet it will. I bet it
All
will.
right. Yeah, she had a giant like slot machine selection thing up in space that was the size of seemingly her ship, and on the front, okay, the eventual battle. 3, 2, 1, go. Were like silhouettes of monsters, as in it really looked like a giant remote control where you click on one of those humongous buttons and out pops a little miniature of the monster, which, funny enough, it's the figure that like is, big enough for her to hold. That's the figure they're going to use for the actual like footage where they're giant monsters in these tiny settings. Joe, do you not want to read Rebirth of Mothra 2?
Rebirth of Mothra 2. Okay.
All right, Rebirth of Mothra 2.
Mothra faces a new foe in Dagra. Dagahra. Dagra.
The American form
It's
of
not-
Dagra.
It's not Dagra. A garbage-eating monster whose presence threatens Earth's oceans and the very existence of humankind.
Would the American version of Dagra be just Dagra, the giant space jellyfish, with a straw hat and a piece of like wheat in its mouth?
I have a feeling it's not the
Dagra.
same one. I have a feeling.
Maybe some overalls,
But
only
the-
buttoned on one side.
The appearance of a wonderful creature leads 3 kids. Oh, jeez. This is going to be...
No, do not be a do not be a Godzilla's Revenge.
leads 3 kids to the legendary underwater city of Nilai Kanai. Where long it is.
I'm looking forward to saying Nilai Kanai a lot.
Magical treasure holds the promise of a prosperous planet. Join Mothra as she fights the explosive battle of her life to save the planet she loves.
So far, this short is mirroring the Godzilla versus Gigan
They're standing across from each other.
on the same exact setting as the Godzilla versus Gigan
Yeah.
one.
Oh, geez, sorry.
Hey, that's actually, see that logo? This is the Godzilla collection. That's the collection they have at Walmart. They use that same graphic, so this must be the same distribution.
Those are the ones.
The Toho Godzilla collection. Yeah. You don't get anything from the 70s in that thing, and you get like 1 or 2 Millennium ones, because I swear Godzilla 2000 is in it, and then you get just a smattering, if you will, of films from the Heisei era. It's missing quite a few.
So
Godzilla just pushed King
Godzilla
Ghidorah
just
over.
pushed King Ghidorah over, and King Ghidorah didn't move.
He ran out of batteries.
See if they're
It
still
is Mecha
advertising
King Ghidorah.
Mothra.
No, they're not. We've
No.
already went through one short where it's just our still CG Godzilla Island. I am kind of missing those scenes from Mothra 2.
Oh, it's hopeless, Drew.
3, 2, 1. Both the name of the episode and these commentaries.
Yeah, my feeling
An
towards
apt
it.
description towards our commentaries on. Okay, Mothra 3.
I can
Joe.
hear you guys hate it. I hate it when I hear you guys hate what you're doing.
In the final film in the Mothra trilogy, King Ghidorah, the most destructive of all the monsters, returns to destroy the Earth. In the end, Mothra, trademark, of course, is indeed triumphant and takes her place among the greatest of all monsters. Wow. That is just the
Big load
most
of nothing.
generic
Yeah. Big
It's-
load of nothing there, Drew.
100 minutes of Ghidorah versus Mothra.
How many heads is this thing? Oh, it's just 3. It just looked like
And
it
then
was
they have the
more.
little monster coins in the bottom. Gosh, it's so dark in here. It's so dark in here, and it's very tiny. I'm trying to read. Mothra, Fairy Mothra, Garu, and King Ghidorah. Those are the 3 coined, trademarked monsters from
King
this
Ghidorah's
trilogy.
in that one, huh?
Yeah, the interesting thing, Joe, I swear
But
that
not
the Toho...
Dagra.
This release, the Toho Godzilla collection banner that we see across this Blu-ray containing Rebirth of Mothra 1, 2, and 3,
Yeah.
the Toho Godzilla collection at Walmart does not have all 3 Rebirth of Mothras. It has like 1 or 2 of them. And it's got... that thing is weird.
Sorry.
It doesn't have
Just gotta
Biolanta.
deal
So
with the
for you
fact
guys
that-
that are trying to watch Godzilla vs. Biolanta, I don't recommend you get it pirated at this point. But try to find it as cheap as you can, which is going to be hard because that's a good one.
Biolanta?
Biollante, not in the Toho Godzilla collection. So, like, for those who need a movie here or there to complete their collection, maybe that Toho Godzilla collection, that's literally what it's called, from Walmart, not too bad. But if you're starting a collection, you're going to be missing a lot of movies where it's like, it's just like a shotgun blast to the middle of the Godzilla filmography where you get one from the beginning of the Heisei, you get some in the middle, you get a few Rebirth of Mothras, and then you get like one or two Millennium Godzilla movies.
How the distribution is so
They're
spread out
everywhere.
between
You know,
companies.
honestly, once they finally, and they still haven't confirmed whether they will or not, but they have to, Joe, release all of these Criterion Janus film,
Yeah.
the like, not Heisei, Showa era movies. They release that like as a movie pack, and you purchase this Toho Godzilla collection, of which I went on and on about. You'd own pretty much 2/3 of the Godzilla movies.
You would. Toho collection, though, I believe, are the...
It might just
I
be
believe
DVD.
they're just the English language ones, those ones.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Because even the Godzilla vs. Biolanta, I can't remember who distributed it.
Biolanta was the one from the other company.
Yeah, and it was a really good release. It had like behind the scenes that Joe and I have not yet watched.
We're actually on Vabaruda.
Vabaruda Destruction Strategy 3-2-1. Yeah, I was really impressed with that releasing of Biolanta, because anytime you get special features, which like the Kraken releasings haven't even had, they might have had like a trailer. Kraken released definitely 84, but they've done some of the Showa, I want to say.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I recognize their Blu-rays. I have a few. of them.
Because the menu looks
Yep.
really similar.
Same. Someday
Kraken
in our
releases.
lifetime, Drew, one company gets a hold of all of them, puts them in a big box set, and that has both the Japanese and the English language stuff on it.
I would really hope that company would be Criterion.
Well, I liked the company that was doing that did the first like half of the show era earlier on.
Yeah, the one
They were the
that
first
is
ones.
your,
They were the first ones that released the original
Yep,
Godzilla.
that's exactly what I was thinking of. Their box
Classic
sets
Media.
were awesome. Yeah, Classic Media. You got a lot of good special features, some
So good.
shorter-ish, like behind-the-scenes docs just on Godzilla movies in general, but they were like from movie to movie that they released, this Classic Media. There would be one on, like, say, Ifukube, then there would be one on Tanaka, then there was one on, like, the effects and
It's
Honda.
just sad. I bet they had a plan to do them all, and it just didn't sell well enough, I guess, for them.
It's too bad. And they're pretty expensive now, if I remember right. I was looking up like the Classic Media. They did have a big collection of them, Joe, because it was like the first half of the Showa era they had in one pack. I don't think that thing's cheap anymore. I remember at the time coming across, just stumbling onto that Classic Media release of that you said the very first time we got Godzilla 1954, not King of the Monsters. And I was like, whoa, this exists. And it's one of the few DVD cases I've kept because I really like the look of that case.
Yeah, I have both versions now. I have...
oh, me too.
Yeah.
The Criterion releasing the cleanup.
I don't want to let go of the other one.
Yeah, I don't want to give
know
up.
if that commentary is on both of them or not.
I'm the type of guy who throws away most
is,
DVD boxes and keeps them in like a big old binder of DVDs, because otherwise I live in a small apartment. I would just have way too many DVDs. But there are a few that I keep the box, and that Classic Media.
I love keeping the boxes.
Godzilla.
It.
I keep the really good looking ones, and for my favorite movies, I have a really cool There Will Be Blood that looks like it's written in blood, the title, and it's kind of like a paper mache, the box.
Really?
And it's like old paper. I don't know. It's all torn on the sides. It's cool.
Oh, I got the regular old.
Well, I also have
that one.
the Blu-ray of that came in a regular case. Okay. What happened there, Joe?
Zag, don't know.
Zagorisu's final moment. 3, 2, 1. Ghidorah's batteries lit up, and it was able to fly out to space, I suppose.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, Joe.
Mind if I just
Heisei.
take a nap?
How's Heisei holding up so far?
I like the getting that kind of like 10-year jump in effects and
Biolanta was pretty.
Yeah, it was
Not even to talk down on the Showa era movies, because like I think for most people, ourselves included, that is like Godzilla for us. We've watched those ones the most. They're our most rewatched, and they're the ones closest to at least my heart. So even seeing a better looking Godzilla, better effects, maybe a slightly better story.
I'm
I
still
can't tell
waiting
so
on
far.
a Godzilla design that I love in that era. I'll be honest.
I think the one that we're going to get a lot of is variants on our Godzilla vs. Biolanta, because the one for Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah was pretty close. The one that was out there so far,
it was a little different.
Yeah, just barely.
Yeah.
Not a ton. Some different coloration is what I noticed on the fins, but the one that's like the real standout that you liked more than me, the design of Godzilla, is 84. I don't think we're ever going to see Godzilla look like that again, like in any other movies. He's definitely not a Showa Godzilla, and he's not the main Heisei one with the very animal-like.
Yeah.
So, they gave us that.
I just miss the Godzilla versus Mothra design. I really just do.
That's
I love
a good
that
one.
design.
I really don't even mind
That his face.
the
is just,
real
like,
radically different
great.
from all the other Showa ones. The King Kong, Godzilla vs. King Kong
One is
design.
an odd one.
It's so reptilian.
It's really alligator or crocodile.
Yeah, no, you're right, because the snout is like super sharp.
Yeah.
And those
And the sharp snout does come back in the Millennium.
Oh yeah, you're
stuff,
right.
yeah.
Especially the one we always
2000,
the one we always think of. The
He has like the mega spikes as well.
because the
I like
spikes were
that Godzilla design.
the
too.
spikes were way more prominent on that King Kong versus Godzilla design.
I do wonder if I just like the design of Godzilla versus Mothra because I just watched it so much as a kid.
Well, and also
And like that's what Godzilla looks like.
Show it has so much to do with the actor in the suit,
Yeah.
and what he's able to do in the suit. I didn't even mind. I knocked the suit, but I liked a lot of the movements in Abira. And yes, I got that right because I get Hedorah and Abira mixed up a lot now.
No.
The still that they ended the episode on here,
Like a
she
smirk.
looked like she was taking up crap.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
But
Sure,
that's what
you're
it
on
looked
one
like.
today.
I'm John. I'm done with this, Joe.
No, we're
Did not like
We
the
got
suit,
four more
or
of
the
these
actual body of the suit for Abira. Zagaresu's turnaround. I think there's a lot of 3, 2, 1, go. There's a lot of character development for Zagaresu that we're missing, and we can't really get into it because I don't know Japanese.
No, neither do I, Drew. Not very much.
The body of the suit on Godzilla versus Abira's Godzilla's suit design, I just can't get past. Do you remember when he's like stomping on the Red Army whatever base, and it's like these really wide angle shots that's like pulled out and you can see Godzilla like in full frame plus a lot of the ground he's stomping on. The body was so baggy in spite of the suit and like the look, other than maybe the face. I can't really bring to mind a clear picture of the face. Just the stuff he was doing as the suit actor in that movie was awesome. Like the scene with him out on the plains and the I think he fights a bird, and then like the jet planes like come by and attack him. You really praised, I remember, the special effects for that movie.
Yeah.
But so for me, that's an example of a film where I really appreciate the movement of the actor. Like I can picture his jump into the ocean away from the like explosion of the base. I can picture ripping off the arms of Abira, and maybe in those moments the suit could have been the one from a prior Godzilla film, because they often do that when he's in the water just to not ruin the new suit or keep it good for as long as possible. But that I think is the
Nakano or Nanako, one of the two.
The suit actor Haruo Nakajima.
Haruo Nakajima. I was thinking of the special effects guy.
Yeah, but just that his portrayal of our favorite titular beast here, Godzilla, his movements I loved. I don't really like the suit. And then there's, opposite, because I don't remember. I like the look of the suit in Godzilla, King Kong versus Godzilla, but like the movements, not so much. I remember a lot of just like lumbering.
Yeah,
and that suit
a lot of tripping off of tails.
Well, the suit was real wobbly, like for having spikes that were so prominent, so large. I remember a lot of movement in that suit, and I'm pretty sure that one had a pretty bad jaw Or sometimes in, say...
oh my gosh. There's a face from outer space talking. I assume he's talking. Could just be staring.
Oh my gosh, she's imprisoned General Sushi. The horror.
The horror.
Zoe has captured General Sushi. What could happen? Not
Yeah,
much,
man,
because we have a
you
lot.
missed some space stuff.
Do you think? I missed some space opera madness. All right.
Well, it was kind of unfathomable.
Was it a giant dark emperor?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. If you couldn't tell, that was the name of the episode we're on. The short.
You like the movement, you don't like the bagginess, but in this one, you're not sure about the movement, but the bagginess is gone.
Exactly. So the suit. It depends on what the actors could do in the suit, because we'll get into it with Ghidorah, but I
don't remember
much the movements.
I don't remember if the Mothra one was baggy, Godzilla versus Mothra. I
don't think the suit was very... And, we talk about... Because
the movement in Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla...
It's really in the crotch and in the arms where you're... I don't think they would have had to have as much movement for monster battles in Godzilla versus Ghidorah, versus Mothra, because he's just kind of fighting,
flailing around.
Exactly. Yeah. He's not doing much hand to hand. Where, like, if he's fighting a a Mechagodzilla or a Gigan or something.
This is really interesting.
Mostly just something flapping in his face and him atomic blasting some larva. Because, man, if Godzilla were to, like, reach down and try to grab, like, a larva, Mothra larva, how silly. I don't know. At what point is it like, this isn't cool anymore? This just looks goofy.
That is straight up CGI, Drew. They actually use CGI.
Yeah, they have a handful of times here. Like our closing shot to every episode is a CG out
but
to
that
the
doesn't
island.
Have any movement.
That's true. No movement. I don't think there's much movement. The face of this giant dark emperor not moving at all, although he's speaking.
And it's flames, the animated flames behind him.
Very 2000s. I swear there was a wallpaper for your Microsoft desktop that just had flames.
Yeah, something like that. You're right.
It's a flame effect.
It's like Windows 98 right there.
Mm-hmm.
Something in there.
Oh, man.
Like one of the Ultima games.
These things hold up so well, I'm telling you. They hold up so... Oh, you know what the flame looks like? RuneScape flame. At the loading screen, you had a flame that...
I wonder what there's probably some technical term for that type of animation.
Because it looks like water. Like it's an upside down waterfall that is the color of fire. Because it evaporates into nothing. Real fire like flickers.
She thought he went away and then she came back and then it scared her.
He keeps disappearing and coming back.
She is in shock? I don't know.
So in Japanese animation, there's some things that characters do that signify certain emotions. When their head like just falls to the side, it's like they're sad, they're scared, disappointed. I don't know how to describe that emotion. I just know what it is. The commander has returned. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, only 3 more of these, Drew. Only 3 more of these.
But a character's neck and their head falls to the side, as in like, oh, they're so like their energy has been drained. Something really weird has happened, and usually their eyes are like their eyes are darkened, and it's like a dark waterfall down their eyes, and then their head just poof, like tilts to the side.
Yeah, I don't know what that's called, but I'm getting real sick of anime crap lately, Drew.
Are you gonna rant here?
No, I'm not gonna rant.
Okay, you don't have the energy for it.
I don't have the energy for it.
All right.
There was some anime cliche me and Craig were on the other day.
There are so many.
Oh, I remember what it was.
Not cliches. It really is just ways to signify emotions that every single Japanese animation uses.
Nuts.
And they use it in manga too.
And it drives me nuts that they do it in dubbed versions as well. Whenever someone does anything in an anime, especially if they're hurt, the amount of noise that they have to make.
Imagine recording.
That's my anime soundtrack noise thing. They could be getting up from a freaking chair. They're going to be making
the visuals Joe, as long as the visuals are enough to signify actually what's going on, if there's not much animation and you hear a lot of that, it's bad. If there is enough movement, it's like, okay, I can see the character moving and actually making those noises. Okay.
No, dude, it's just just move around. How many times do you go?
Okay, you hit on one in that sounds very much, because a lot of yours I'm like, what are you doing? But then you went,
Well, we see it all the time in the Final Fantasy games. Like, there'll be some scene where like someone will be like hurt in one of these CGI cutscenes.
It's one still from when a character is being beaten down. I'm for some reason thinking of Kuwabara in Yu Yu Hakusho. You guys watch Yu Yu Hakusho, the Dark Tournament specifically. That was my first anime. If you're having a character who's being wailed on, like just destroyed by another fighter, they like flashing white, and then it's a still of them going, ugh! And then it's like flash white to another still of them in another like painful position, and there's always the other fighter behind them, like sometimes looking back and smirking, and with their sword, or if they hit them with their fist, they're like, and it's just a still after still, and with every single new still and every flash between stills, and then the final one is them just falling, and then the person walking away going, the other person goes, huh.
My problem is, Drew, is that no one makes those noises. Now, maybe an aw every once in a while, but not a...
It's just the same as the commander has returned. General Sushi was freed from his imprisonment by the giant Dark Emperor and the Necklace of Fear. 3, 2, 1. If you're watching a modern action film that doesn't have like, you're punching and like,
yeah,
like as an over amplified hit effect.
I notice it. Yeah,
see, but
it's something that actually bugs me. Yeah.
Well, see, to general audiences, I don't think you would.
Sense.
And you also mentioned the same with them cutting frames where it's like stills of people moving, and it's supposed to, when you cut to it quickly, and especially with those flashes, it signifies that there was a lot of movement that went unshown.
Drew,
but
I'm just complaining about over the top voice acting.
The equivalent to that in a modern action movie would be cutting those frames as they're, about to land a blow to speed it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that all the time. But there was that, and there was loud crying. Like, no one cries like that. No one in real life that is not mentally deficient cries like that, Drew.
In my humble opinion, having watched a lot of Japanese animated television, and a lot of listeners to this right now, if you've actually listened through this, which bless your heart,
you shouldn't be singing. It's crying like that.
You know what's around Godzilla's neck right now? I'm going to get back to my point.
I don't know, dog collar.
No, it's the side of a piece of notebook paper.
Oh, you're saying what it really is.
When you rip
Got it.
a piece of notebook paper, and it has to be terrible because
old printers, when they had the
the sides of exactly, in order to line up the paper to like roll through and stay on track as it's printing it, you tear off the sides and there's little dots on that paper. They've taken one of those strips of paper and they've wrapped it around Godzilla's neck, the action figure, and he's being controlled. It's a piece of paper. It's a piece of paper that they've put on this Godzilla.
Spray-painted. Wow. I don't know if that is a piece of paper. That might just be a long piece of aluminum that they
have dots out of. Okay, as I'm looking at it, it is dots, and they have it on some other monsters as well. So they're forcing Godzilla to fight.
Yeah, it's like a Fight Club sort of thing.
Ooh, but
maybe they don't have their powers or something. I'm trying to guess what these things are doing.
A Japanese animated television show would not be the same without those. It's so
without the loud crying.
Mm-hmm, it's so core and integral. All those grunts and noises and everything. I think one series that you should watch, and please, everyone that's listening, applaud me and tweet at Joe about this.
Loud Cry, the series.
Watch One Punch Man, dude. It makes fun of itself, as in the main character, like Saitama, I think is his name. And I'm sure through pop culture, just like disseminating to you, flipping through Twitter, you've seen him. 3, 2, 1, don't call its name. This is the final episode of Story 7. The character is so powerful and is trained so much, and all he's done is push-ups, but he's more powerful than any sort of insane, like, ninja, giant robot mecha, giant beast creature. Anything that you can throw at the wall is in this series. But he's just a bald guy with a dopey suit, and he takes out everything in one punch. Aliens descend on the Earth and are about to destroy everything.
With anime crying.
No, it's just that it makes fun of every sort of like power level, every sort of every anime trope, cliche, all that stuff. It like tackles head on in that there's this character that is sad that he can't fight because he's too powerful. He's somewhat sad. I mean, he just wants a challenge, but at the same time, he just goes through his everyday life like a normal guy. And it's funny because all of these more charismatic and cooler looking people that are good guy anti-heroes, like his apprentice you'll see later on in the series, because they look more like heroes, the general public is like, whoa, you've saved us because you're a cool looking guy with a robot arm. He's the One Punch Man. He's really the guy that is way more powerful than any of these insane looking creatures, but he just looks so plain and he comes up to them and they underestimate him. They're like, "Ha, you cannot defeat me." And he just like just taps them with his like fist and they explode. And he's like, well, moving on. And he's like a little bit, sad about it, but it's like, oh man, that series is fantastic. And the final boss, like the final bad guy of the series, is this insanely overpowered creature from space that unlocks like several final forms, and in the end he almost withstands one like slightly powerful punch from Saitama, and he's still like disappointed because Saitama can't go all out. And the reason he's bald is because he trains so hard. And when his apprentice asks him, Joe, "Master, I must know your training regimen to how you've become so strong," he's like, 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups every day, and like 100 pull-ups. And the guy with like, I can't remember the guy's name, his apprentice with the robot arms that like can shoot fire from his arms, he's like, "You're kidding, right?" Like, wait, that's all you've done? And he's like, "Yes, but you must do it like," and I can't remember if he has a diet or anything, but if little stuff like that bugs you and you're aware of it, the series kind of calls itself out. And it's not a long series either, and it's on Netflix, but it's like maybe 9 episodes. It's really good.
Okay.
I watched it very quickly because everybody recommended it, and that was the end of Godzilla Story 7.
Episode 7, so
if you have not watched One Punch Man, whether you like Japanese animation or not, go for it. It can't hurt you.
It is just like, do you loud cry?
Nope.
Hold on. We might not be done. Let me
check.
check.
We have to check to make sure
Let me check.
We found more. There are 3 more.
There's 3 more.
All right. Mecha King Ghidorah returns. We're going to finish this, guys.
I'm going to ask you something really important, though.
Joe, will you actually watch One Punch Man? Probably not.
I don't get on Netflix very much, but if I do see it, I will add it to my queue, and maybe someday it will happen.
For fans of
when you cry, Drew.
Do I cry like an anime character? I do not.
Do you cry out loud?
Oh, by the way, we started Mecha King Ghidorah. 3, 2, 1, go.
I don't have a problem with even anime if someone is like crying and then they have to speak, and then of course their voice gets wavery or they yell through it or whatever. Okay. That actually makes sense. That's like a human thing to do.
Yeah.
But when they're just crying, nothing else going on.
Yeah.
The wailing that happens in these anime things, or in Final Fantasy Type 0 cutscenes specifically, is what I started like complaining about it.
See a procession of monsters. Go on. No, son of Godzilla. No, you should die. Go on.
It is obnoxious, and
well, luckily I've never seen a series where it's like somebody will be crying. See, it's that your first one was very good. That was very spot on. But I don't know. It's just like, I mentioned this to my fiance and talking with other people. There's certain things, and there was definitely a big part of Godzilla vs. Ghidorah that we'll get to. I don't even see them anymore, Joe. I've been so submerged in it that it's like I don't notice it. When we talked about Shin Godzilla a long time ago, you and Schweiss harped on the bad English. I didn't even notice it.
How?
I was like, oh, it's bad. Moving on. You guys are like, it was horrible.
It was terrible.
Okay.
Everything else in that movie is great. But
Yeah, I just
it's awful.
it's like barely noticed to me. I think they're gonna. Wow, this is like a crux to the entire series because Mecha King Ghidorah is destroying General Sushi's base. Like, I don't know if the series is gonna be the same after this, Joe.
Oh no! And all the monsters are just standing there, just hanging out.
They're all watching, looking on Mecha. I don't know why, because they don't appear to be controlled. I'm thinking that the Dark Emperor has like given them a final decision where they're like, you have to let King Ghidorah destroy the base and kill General Sushi, otherwise we'll destroy the Earth. And for some reason, I think the monsters are more sentient in this series, as in like capable of actual thought, not driven off animal instincts.
Kill me.
Is it that
It's an entire group of them doing anime crying. A group of them.
3, 2,
That is crying, by
1,
the way.
sortie commander?
But it's in English, Drew. They took it and they did it in English too.
You know how
Why?
you know how Japanese people don't express emotion in general? I'm talking about like if you were to
I don't know.
maybe not in general, but like really it's
I don't know. What do you think? They're just exploding with loud crying?
in anime.
No, I saw a couple Japanese students cry at Snow College, and they weren't wailing. They weren't wailing.
But don't they do that in American television? Like not that
Wailing like
specifically.
that?
Not that specifically, but in a TV show, movie, whatever, you overly dramatize like
Yeah, it's called bad stuff. That's not good.
I think it's just
over the top.
I think
No.
it's just a cultural thing.
The anime part of it, maybe.
It literally, Joe,
No.
if everything is like that over there, which it is, you just don't notice it. You're like, man, I started my like,
It's a pitch in my ear that just hurts.
I watched Yu Yu Hakusho,
Yeah.
Spirit Detective.
It hurts as much as seeing that thing's face on this show.
You're talking
Drew.
about the Dark Emperor,
No, I'm talking about
Godzilla.
Minya.
Oh, son of Godzilla,
Yeah.
because it is not Minya. I started watching it when I was 12, Joe, so I've become so numb to that. Like, it's just like, oh, that's what it is. That's how this works. It's a part of what makes up the anime. What I'm there for, Joe, is the action. I've never watched a Japanese anime for, like, drama. I've watched ones, they're all for fighting. For the, well, except for Death Note.
And the world, I'm assuming, and the characters.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't watch that much anime. I watched Neon Genesis Evangelion,
That one is nuts.
which is I thought
Still
was awesome.
the last. No, it is awesome. It is awesome. But I'm just saying the ending to that, it's not your typical anime fare. It's so cerebral and just like, I still don't understand the end fully. When I was watching that, I'm like, this is the only one you've seen because this is so far into like left
Television
field.
show that I've seen all the way through. I've like Caleb Craig, who I lived with for a long time.
Yeah.
He would watch anime all the time. And there were
get in-
some that looked like they were going to be okay, and
Yeah.
then there were some that looked like trash.
3,
and
2, 1, all out monster attack. Go.
make it end.
This is the last of it. So this is really the end, folks.
I watched most of Studio Ghibli's movies, and I've seen
Okay, but those are
and I've seen Akira, and I've seen Steam Boy.
especially Studio Ghibli, however you say it. It's different. Like they have their own sense of like everything.
Yeah,
honestly,
they're better than others
well, it's
in almost every way.
it's
Animation
much,
quality.
It's much more appealing to an
Yeah.
international audience. That style of everything,
appealing to
sensibility
their
of
audience
acting.
too. If you look at the box office.
It's not typical anime.
Yeah, I know it's not. Oh, I've seen like Perfect Blue. I thought was a really good movie.
Okay, I've heard of that, but I've never.
Yeah, I've seen actually quite a bit for like a normal.
Yeah,
normie, I guess.
Man, I want to watch Fist of the North Star so bad. That's apparently like an 80s, maybe early 90s, but I'm pretty sure it's 80s animation.
There's a movie called
animated
Wolf Children
series.
that's supposed to be really good that I wanted to see.
Yu Yu Hakusho was possibly late 80s, definitely 90s. Just the animation style is certainly hand-drawn. I'll have to show you when we're done with this. I have production stills, or animation stills, from Yu Yu Hakusho of, like, basically the, like, main headmaster woman that trains, like, the main hero character. Her name's Genkai. She's, like, the Yoda of that series. And the, like, ultimate bad guy, Taguro, blows my mind that I was able to get my hands on those. But just to own a piece of that series, like...
The monsters are all out attacking, but it's mostly doggy piling on Mecha King Ghidorah.
So apparently the monsters actually, like, they weren't being controlled through the collars anymore, but like I said, they were given, like, some sort of an ultimatum. This is me reading into it.
Oh!
And Mecha King Ghidorah, this is All Monsters Attack. That's the name of it. And this is what happens, except this is All Monsters Attack.
This is Mecha King Ghidorah, and I feel less bad because it's Mecha.
And when it rips... Oh, wow. That reaction shot from General Sushi. I forget the name of the... Gorosaurus. Tore off the head of one of King... They're literally recreating shots because Anguirus was lifted up by Ghidorah in All Monsters Attack and dropped down. And that just happened. Yeah, you're right. I felt less bad because he's partially a mecha. He's not just a mind-controlled creature.
And now they're all sitting in a prayer circle.
They really were. They really were. They were all huddled together.
Well, that was the end of
Go
episode
team.
7.
All the monsters with their stubby little arms, I don't care what you
True.
say, Joe, had like a hustle. Go, team, go.
We have 15 episodes of this left.
15 left?
Yes.
Wait, does that mean there's 22?
15 stories.
So there's 22 stories.
I believe so. Let me triple check.
Double check before we end this off.
Don't disappoint me.
And you know what, Joe? Guess what? If we missed a few shorts so far because we didn't know that there was an entirely other...
There's 22, yeah. 22.
We could
do one in between every movie, basically.
All right. All right. Get some Matthew
Let's end this thing. I'm
Dazed and confused. All right.
I'm just in such a foul mood right now.
Please, the next stories.
I just want to go eat a lot of stuff, feel better.
And one wonders why you're a fat boy. I'm joking.
I don't wonder. I know exactly why. Do other people wonder? Do they not see me eat?
I love you, Joe. And here we go, signing off. Hopefully the next batch of stories will not be as just atrocious. So far, I'm giving you guys a hearty recommendation to go out and get Godzilla Island. Don't do that.
You just pulled a Borat there.
Not. My wife.
Go get Godzilla Island. Not.
Can we kidnap Zoe Zillion just like Pamela Anderson? Get a sack, like a potato sack, and throw it over. You and I are not gonna,
I love that movie so much. Drew.
We are not going to wrestle in a hotel room.
Where he takes the chicken with him, and then there's a part where he's like so mad. He throws the bag down, and you hear the like chicken go.
I love Borat.
The best
but in spite of that,
set up payoff.
Anyone who's not really aware of Borat, aside from its cultural significance with the phrase "my wife," I can't recommend it because it's so freaking vulgar. I love it.
Really?
But go into it knowing it's going to be some extreme vulgarity.
I think they know.
And cringe.
I think if they haven't heard of Borat, they've been living under a rock.
My G. Keep it G, guys.